Hello and welcome to episode 35 of the Sunday League Pundits show with me, Stretch.
Jim
On my left, I've got my very good friend Jim Jam. And off camera, we have Tin Ribs.
Hello.
How are we, boys?
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
You good?
Tired. Very tired.
Tired. Doing nothing is very tiring, apparently.
Trying to sleep with basically a ripped muscle rib in my ribs is causing me
I did
problems.
wonder where that was going then when it's I'm trying to sleep with.
Trying to sleep with a ripped muscle.
that could have gone very wrong, couldn't it? Right, do we have a Jim Jam of the Statman stat this week?
Yes. So, Belgium scored, and that meant that every team at the Euros has scored. Now, in the
I didn't know that.
in the last 20 years, there's only one team that has failed to score in the tournaments. So this is the 6th tournament in 20 years. So in 2000, it was Denmark who failed to score
a goal at all.
Who's failed to score a goal at all. So so there's been one team in the last 20 years that have failed to score in a Euros tournament. Which team?
So I'm just going to be an arsehole and just instantly go for Scotland.
I was thinking the same thing.
No, it's Ukraine. Ukraine in 2012 that not scored. Now, it surprised me a bit because you always think, oh, there's always a team in there that you always perceive as being the whipping boys. But you know what? Based on this tournament, I tell you what, the ones that I expected to lose have been some of the better games of football that I've watched.
I'm going to go with Albania.
So it goes to shame. Well, I'm thinking Georgia.
The
Georgia as well.
Unreal.
Both of them. Yeah. Albania have really
Completely
done a good job.
underestimating these minnows,
definitely.
so to speak. So actually, a team not scoring is quite uncommon, really.
Speaking of minnows and teams that are not nearly good enough, we will go into England as soon as we've played the music. Welcome to episode 35. Thank you very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. So now we've done a bit of slagging off and praising, to be fair.
Yep.
We don't often praise on the Sunday League Pundit show because it's quite frankly not as fun as slagging people off. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, so going on the whole, like you saying Scotland, I heard a really interesting one today. Scotland have not won a competitive game outside of Britain since 1992.
That's quite a long time.
Wow.
Not even in the Nations League?
No.
Nothing at all?
Competitive, so tournament football.
In Nations League?
Nations League.
I'm probably not even that then.
So they haven't even scored I imagine
I'm not saying
scored.
scored, won. They haven't
won.
won a game. So the last time they won in a competitive game was in Euro 96.
Jesus.
And then before that it was 3-0 against someone in 92.
Wow, that's
92.
crazy.
That's mental. That's absolutely mental. Right, we recorded last week literally a matter of maybe an hour
Before
England
game.
played Serbia. So we didn't actually talk about the game last week because it hadn't been played.
It
You know
seemed
what?
by
Now
the
it has-
chat that somebody didn't go to bed.
No, I actually stayed up and watched it. I wish
He
I'm
hadn't
you
bothered.
I wish we'd just recorded the podcast because, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my breakdown that I've got is Trent Alexander-Arnold should have been subbed after 20 minutes. He made one interception, a sliding interception, which was decent, to be fair to him. But he gave the ball away at least 9 times on my counting, and was out of position on countless occasions. And why the fuck are we playing 2 DMs when we've got the best forward line in world football? I don't understand why we're playing 2 DMs. What is the need? What's the point?
There is no need. And we're talking Serbia, and we'll go into the next game later. But we played so well for that first 20 minutes was brilliant
Played
until
right.
we scored. I love the way
we
we were
scored.
passing the ball about. I thought we were attacking. We could get something going. The build-up was there, and it was interesting to watch.
I'd agree.
It was a lucky ball into the box because it took a deflection, but Bellingham, fair play to him, got his header, and he was absolutely immense in that game. He was everywhere. He was all over that pitch. Exactly what
for
you
me,
want.
there was a few very good players.
What you want from your number 8, as you call it. That player that plays in between the DM and
I'd agree.
the AM, which is where
But we didn't have an
Foden
AM.
should be.
100%. I totally agree.
Um,
Now, for me personally, just to interject quickly, Bellingham, Rice, and Gahey were amazing in that first game.
I wouldn't necessarily include Rice in that.
I think he did really well in the first game. Second game, we'll get on to that. Totally different story. But the first game, I thought Rice was brilliant. He did everything well. Got in the way, stopped the ball. Bellingham did everything. Literally everything, because he was the only one really putting in 100%. But Gahey, for me, I thought he was absolutely superb. He was absolutely brilliant. I actually think Trippier played very well as well, considering he was
Trippier
out of
played
position.
well.
I think
in
he
the
did well
first
in the
half.
first game as well. So there was a couple of positives. But for me, I
then
don't understand the 2DM
We
thing
had
anyway.
the same thing. They sat back after the goal, and he never really attacked again.
Yeah.
And Serbia had a couple chances.
They should have. They
You know,
should have
they
put one
were-
away. Definitely should have
They
put
were
one
easy saves for Pickford to make, and Pickford did everything that he needed to do in that first game. The second game, again, is going to be a different story when I'm talking about
So-
Pickford.
away.
I just wanted to make one retraction.
Mhm.
So last week we were talking about the England team from the friendlies and how we're going forward, and I made the statement that I don't like Trent Alexander-Arnold as a right back, but I rate him as a DM.
Yeah.
I want to retract that statement. That guy is absolutely fucking useless and should never wear an England shirt again.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we all thought Trent was going to be a decent addition at defensive midfield. I was very surprised they were talking about Trent starting as a DM because I thought, why would they play him over Rice? What I wasn't expecting was 2 defensive midfielders with the best attack in world.
So, yeah, but I just also want to point out, now, I'm probably wrong on this, but a lot of people are saying the same thing that I'm thinking. But isn't Bellingham a number 8?
Yeah.
So why are we keeping one of the best number 10s on the left wing and not playing the number 8 in the number 8 position and putting the number 10 in the number 10?
For me personally,
Because Southgate
should
lost
be-
it.
For me personally, it should be 2 central midfielders,
Mhm.
which is Rice and Bellingham.
Mhm.
Bellingham with more
Forward
opportunity to
attacking.
go forward, and Rice slightly more defensive. Now, if that swaps, I'm fine with it. But for the most part, I want Bellingham going forward and Rice holding.
I
Agreed.
think it's so.
Foden, I was going to call him Foden then, that's a truck. Foden should be number 10. And if you're going to say, well, Foden's not played well, he's been out of position. But if you're going to say Foden's not played well, then put Palmer there, because he's a very good attacking midfielder as well.
There was... I know I'm jumping ahead to the second game now. But there was a good 20 minutes at the start of the second game where Foden actually looked decent.
Yes, because he played as an attacking midfielder.
No, that's what I was
Coming
about
inside.
to say. He came into the middle.
But that just proves to me
But he
that
shouldn't
like,
have been there.
if Bellingham dropped off a little bit and played CM with Rice, Foden can run that midfield. And Bellingham can absolutely destroy anyone just behind. And Rice will clean up anything, because we've seen it at Arsenal all season long. He tidies up everything, Rice does. So you give him that job. Bellingham controls a game. Give him that job. And Foden is one of the best in the world at playing a number 10 and attacking. So give him that job. I don't understand what's so difficult about it. I don't get it.
So we're on the second game now anyway, so we might as well stay
hang on.
there.
Well, we'll just finish the first game then.
Okay.
In as much as we were told. Now, I will tell you that I've had a conversation with someone online, right, who said to me, and I quote, 2 games is not enough for me to make my full decision on Southgate. I'm going to wait for the next match. To which my response was, he's been in the post for 8 years. That's more than 2 games. Are you mental? And he's put, well, no, I'm on about this tournament. Why? Southgate's been proven he's not good enough for the job since we got beat by Croatia. To which somebody told me Croatia were a better side than England at the time.
No, they weren't.
What, they
Are
had
you
Modric?
kidding me? Because they've got Modric.
Croatia weren't a better side back then.
Not even close.
And Southgate should have gone then. And I've already said he should have gone after France. He should have gone after X number of games.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He's
and then
failing.
the Italy one, he should have been hounded out after the Italy defeat because we were far and away the best. There are Sunday League sides around this area that would have beaten Italy that day because they were bloody awful.
But I guess down to the FA, obviously Southgate is well enough for an interesting statistic, the fact that he is the highest paid manager at the Euros.
Which means he's going to cost the most to get rid of.
He costs something like £5 million a year, his wage.
Yeah, not
He
worth
gets
it.
paid more than the Germany manager, every single one of them.
It's not worth it. Not worth it for me.
And that just amazed me that that he's the highest paid. And
Yeah,
the worrying
just-
thing is that he might still be
No,
managing
he
us
will
at the
be
World
because he's
Cup.
a yes man, and the FA want yes man. They don't want a manager because if they did, if they wanted an actual manager that was going to succeed at, I was going to say Arsenal man, was going to succeed at England, they'd have kept Sam Allardyce and they wouldn't have screwed him over and forced him
You
out
know
of
what
the
would
job.
be amazing? They sack Southgate tonight and employ Allardyce to take over for the rest of it.
Dreamland, wouldn't it?
Here's an interesting one for you on that. Did you know that in the African nations, the Ivory Coast sacked
Yes, I
their
did.
manager
won
mid-tournament
it.
and then won?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's your evidence. We just need to sack Southgate,
Yep.
put anyone in charge, and we might do better.
Mate, send Ben White over there to control the team. I bet he'd make a better manager than Southgate. And I tell you what, it'd make it far more
Honestly,
interesting when we
I know
did
he
lift the
didn't do
trophy
well
at the end of it.
managing Newcastle, but bloody hell, Alan Shearer was making a hell of a lot of sense on his commentary.
Well, on the
I
commentary
actually
thing,
don't dislike Alan Shearer in
And
any way,
you
shape
know
or
what?
form.
And one of the things that he said was that he retired from international football because he couldn't do the things that he used to do, which is exactly how Kane is now.
I'm actually unsure about Kane. You know, I told you guys that I was watching on BBC iPlayer. I was watching they'd got like a review show of England's performances. It was Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker, Cesc Fabregas, and they were discussing England's performances and how they've done. And they literally picked out about 15 occasions where Foden's closing, Bellingham's closing, Saka's closing, and Kane just stands there. And then they pass it round Kane. Of course, they've got all the space in the world on the other side there. So you've got the three behind him that are all pushing and closing now, and Kane's just probably not interested, not capable, not able, whatever it is, he's not doing what he should be doing.
Yeah, but how much did Watkins do so much more than Kane did
We
in
looked
his
more dangerous
20
for me
minutes?
when
I thought it was
when
still on the
Watkins
first
come
game.
No, we moved
Oh.
on. A little
then
bit.
Quickly back to the first
You
game.
moved us on.
Shut up. Got to give Gracevic a little bit of credit though, because that save from Kane's header was actually really good,
It
Oh,
was.
yeah, superb.
considering how he's coming back. So
Superb.
if he'd have probably scored that,
I'm not even on about him missing that chance because that was a superb save. So I've got no issue with that. My issue is we created
I've got
one
no
chance.
doubt that Kane is going to score goals for England.
okay.
The
so
problem is everything that he does when he's not
No,
scoring.
Hang on. I'm gonna actually put ourselves culpable in this one. So we've always slagged off Kane's dropping too deep, doing too much. He's not being the striker.
Yeah.
All he's done this time around is be the striker.
No, he hasn't.
No,
'cause
he
he's
hasn't.
not closing down.
How can you say that? Because, and I'm going to immediately
not
go
dropping
to the
back.
second game.
I don't
I'm
want him
sorry.
dropping back, and I'm happy that he's
Denmark-
not dropping back, but he's not pushing forward either. He's just standing in no man's land. Now, if you're not going to drop back, which is what I want from Kane, close your man down.
Yeah.
And he's not doing it. He's just standing there and letting them play around him. And when the centre-back's got the ball and he's got the option of right back or left back, the striker, for me, is meant to go in between one of them. You're meant to close the defender down whilst covering the left back so that your midfielder knows, your left-sided midfielder knows, I've got to close the right back down now because that's his only out. Whereas Kane's just running straight head-on at him and he can pass it either way, left or right, and just get straight out and have no problems with it whatsoever. You've got to block one of them exit strategies off, and he's not doing it. And then when the ball then gets played out, he's kind of taking a few steps in field, which is fine. But then when the ball goes back to that centre back, he's not even moving, which then leaves all the other three that have then moved over in no man's land, and the other side of the pitch is free.
And
he's not closing down. He's not doing.
But you know what the irony is? The one time he's not stood up front doing fuck all is when he created the goal for Denmark.
Exactly, where he was in the left back position, and he went to clear the ball, kicked it to them, and scored. Kane should have been nowhere near.
No. For me, Kane shouldn't be on the pitch at the moment. Trent shouldn't be on the pitch. Kane shouldn't be on the pitch. After the second game, I don't think Declan Rice should be. I don't know whether he's tired or whether he just give up. But
he's not been playing that
position.
Himself. He's playing a position he does not play for Arsenal.
Most of them are, though, aren't they? Most of the players are just getting chucked about. Trippier
now,
doesn't
I know
play
that
left back for
Southgate
Newcastle.
played. There's no natural replacement for Kalvin Phillips.
I wanted to get onto that.
I'm sorry, but there probably is natural replacements for Kalvin Phillips. You just haven't picked any of them players to play that position.
That's the biggest problem. Like, for me, if you're going to have a natural DM right now, English, you name me one English DM right now that stands out.
And he's only played one friendly, Adam Wharton.
I'd go Archie Gray. I really, really like him. I know you do. You're laughing, but I really like the kid. I think he's superb. And the proof is that before Wharton was picked for England this time round, I didn't even know who he was. But Archie Gray, I knew who Archie Gray was because I've heard of him.
But would we have heard of Archie Gray if we weren't doing this? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
He's been talked about a lot, hasn't he? Whereas Wharton doesn't get talked about on Sky Sports News.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't get talked about on TalkSport. But Archie Gray, I have heard him mentioned on TalkSport.
I haven't heard him
I may not know how good
TalkSport.
Archie Gray was because I may not have watched him as much if we weren't doing this. Yeah. But I would have heard of him because he does get spoken about.
Yeah.
Wharton doesn't get spoken about.
But we've got Maino.
I don't class him as a DM.
He is. He's a DM. That's his position.
I mean, he plays quite attacking for Man United, but then they don't do any defending anyway, do they? So, he could be a DM that just ignores the
centre-back
commands like everybody else ignores bloody
so,
10 hours.
Here's a question for you. So, we're really struggling at left wing at the moment because that left wing space is so open.
Eze, Gordon.
Yeah, we got two.
No, Eze doesn't play there.
I'd still rather have him than Foden.
For me, a winger can play left or right.
He's not a winger, he plays through the middle.
He's another attacking midfielder.
I
thought he was a winger for Palace.
He plays just behind.
I thought Elise was on one side and Eze was on the other.
They are, but they play in the middle. They play wing back. They play five at the back. So their
Gordon,
wingers
then.
are two right.
Gordon is a left winger.
So
at Newcastle. So play him.
And how many minutes has he got this tournament so far?
Look how good Palmer's been this season. He's been fucking outstanding.
And how many minutes has he got?
He's not even got on the pitch yet. He's not even laced his boots yet.
Any.
It's hard to get minutes when your manager's an imbecile.
That's a very polite word. I wasn't going to go there either.
And you know who would have made a difference as well, potentially, going into the last, say, 15 minutes of that Denmark game? Jack Grealish.
I was going to go with his nan, because...
I should have made more impact than any of the players have. I agree, actually, Grealish would have been better. But for me, then, you can't then turn around and say, well, I'm not really picking him because he hasn't played much. I've not put Grealish in the squad. Wasn't it lack of minutes that he'd not put him in?
John Stones hasn't got many minutes.
Luke Shaw, hello.
Yeah. Apparently,
he's not even playing.
Yeah, no, apparently he's not. He's not going to be fit for the entire tournament.
Jesus
I've heard he's not going to be at least fit till the round 16, and may not even then.
Hang on. I'm going to word it like this. So I sort of see where you're coming from, but we didn't take Grealish because we have other options available, and I'm going to use the example of Gordon. The fact that he doesn't use that option doesn't mean there's not an option available. So if you're saying it's good, he hasn't got the minutes. Hang on. He hasn't got the minutes, but we've got another option that has.
Yeah.
So you've got the option. At left back, we have no options. Now, if you're under the...
We would
Joe
have had
Gomez,
if picked him. Gomez.
Conser.
Yeah. Hang on. So, agreed. Those two could have gone, and they didn't. But maybe you should have picked centre-backs Better. Here's the thing. If you got a chance to take easily England's best left-back, right? And you've got a chance, and you've got 26 players. That's plenty of space for spares and all that, would you not take on the chance that you can have the best player with you?
Did
No,
it work
'cause
out
he's
for
injured.
Wayne Rooney? Did it work out for David
And
Beckham?
that's what I would go
and
to.
both times it's not worked,
They've
and it looks like this time it's not working with Luke Shaw.
They took Beckham with his metatarsal, and he was not the same player during that tournament. He was half the player that he was before his injury. They took Rooney with an injury. Didn't he then come off against Portugal? And the only striker we had on the bench was Walcott.
No.
And because he was young, they
He
never
didn't come
played
off
him.
against Portugal. He got sent off against
So
Portugal
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he got sent off, didn't he? But he was pretty poor, though,
But he
wasn't
was
he? Because of his
poor.
injury.
because he wasn't
So
fully fit.
I would have looked at that and I'd gone, okay, sure, you're not fit for the first 2 games. You're not coming. Because we need to win the first 2 games. Like, for me, we should be winning all 3 of them.
And then it's just amazes me just how he can't pick the players that
And it's your,
in
like,
the positions that they've played for their club all year and are making them play different.
Tin Ribs, you've just said that you've got Gordon as another option. Right, another option suggests that Gordon's your second choice. Who's your first choice for left wing? Because Gordon's the only left winger we've
what
got.
I meant was you have other options available. So when it comes to Grealish, and his point was Grealish should be going. I'm saying, but you've got another option in Gordon, and Gordon's been playing. Gordon's got the minutes. Gordon's had a great season. There's your option. So
Well, for me, Gordon should be on, and
I agree.
Grealish should be your option.
I'm not. Well, yeah. But
Grealish brings
Because
you a
then you've got
different
2
type.
left wingers. Right now, we don't have any left
But
wingers.
Southgate's too busy trying to play fucking Foden there.
Because he's a fucking idiot.
Absolutely.
Southgate, the FA wants Southgate. Yes, no, 3 bags full. Whatever the FA say, Southgate will just go along with because he's a company man.
And I've been
He
saying for
always has
6
been.
years he's
And he always
not
will.
good enough.
And like I was the same as everyone else. I mean, I was absolutely gutted when they screwed Big Sam over and took him out of the job because they only employed him for me because of public outcry because everybody wanted Sam to be in charge of England.
Yeah.
So like, well, we're going to have to bow to this and do it, but I reckon we can get him out quick. And I'm 100% convinced that was set up by the FA to get him out of the job quick because they didn't want him in the first place. At least now they can say, well, we tried to give him the job and it just didn't work out. But I think the FA set that up.
Thing is, at the moment, Southgate's becoming like one of the longest serving England managers.
Yes,
Now.
because he, as I keep getting told, he's the most successful. How many trophies has he lifted? Because I don't remember celebrating any.
To be fair, his win percentage is quite high and one of the highest. Obviously, you've got to get rid of Sam because he's 100%, but with
could
one
have,
game.
He could have the second best win percentage of any England manager.
I think it's
Still.
like 61% of games won, but it's not. But
But you know what?
that 40% is unfortunately
He's lost.
Croatia.
Yeah.
He's lost 100% of
France.
the important games.
Yes.
I just want to say, I don't know stats, and this might be one for you. I would like to get, say, Graham Taylor, right? Get his games in charge, see who he played and who he beat and lost versus who Southgate has won and lost against.
I've actually made a little bit of a list here.
Ooh, okay.
Gareth Southgate, since he's been in charge. Now, this isn't a complete list. You
Yeah.
understand? It's fairly extensive, but it's not complete. So, the games we've won in competitive games since Southgate's been in charge. Serbia, Malta twice, a very poor Italy side twice. Now, this includes Nations League, by the way.
Okay.
Australia, North Macedonia, Ukraine, Senegal, Wales, Iran, San Marino, Albania, Andorra twice, Hungary. They're the wins in competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the draws in competitive, Denmark, North Macedonia, Ukraine, USA, Germany twice, Italy, Hungary, Poland, and Italy again, but we lost on pens because that was the final. The games we've lost in
To be fair,
competitive games.
I know that you've missed out like Germany from his wins and stuff like that. You kind of just picked
That was a friendly.
No, because we
No, 'cause-
beat
oh,
them in
oh,
the
sorry. Yeah.
thingy.
but-
You kind of
yeah.
kept out
I get
the
that,
big.
but that Germany was no
Awful.
different to North
Awful.
Macedonia for me because they
Yeah.
were a shite German tie.
I mean,
Right, so the
Christ,
games-
it lost a guy's job.
The games we've lost in competitive, right? So Nations League, Italy, Hungary twice. One of which was 4-0 against Hungary. Who, by the way, Scotland are level pegging to beat. So Scotland are as likely to beat Hungary as Hungary are to beat Scotland, and they beat us 4-0. So we've lost twice to Hungary in the Nations League, Italy, Belgium, Denmark, Holland, Spain, and we've also lost World Cup Belgium twice because we lost in the group and we lost in the third, fourth playoff. Whether you agree with it or not and think it's a game or not, tough. It's a competitive game, and we lost it to Belgium. Croatia beat us in the semi-final. Czechia beat us. Like, really? Anytime we've faced a team with any form of history, they've smashed us. Friendlies, we've beat Bosnia, Scotland, Ivory Coast, Switzerland, right? Drew against Belgium, and we've lost to Iceland, a poor Brazil, France, fair enough, and a poor Germany. The guy should have been sacked years ago.
6 years ago.
Easily 6 years ago. It just absolutely baffles me.
I could understand given one chance 6 years ago. But 4 years ago, he should have been sacked.
100%, yeah.
And worst case scenario, 2 years ago, he should have been sacked.
We could have sucked it up when he got beat by Croatia and just gone, it was unlucky. We were off on the day. Bad decisions. Whatever you want to say, you could have potentially got away with it. But then when you then get beat 2 years later to a team you should be beating, and then 2 years later you lose again to a team you should be beating, at some point the FA have got to go, we're just not going to win with this guy in charge. Now, when your manager has got at his disposal Gahey, Stones, Rice, Palmer, Eze, Gordon, Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Kane, and then comes out in an interview and says, I haven't got a replacement for Kalvin Phillips. Right, Ramsdale lost his position because during an interview he said he struggles to concentrate for 90 minutes. Right? That interview that Southgate did, when he's got them players that I've mentioned quickly, Kane, Saka, Foden, Bellingham, Gordon, Eze, Palmer, Rice, Stones, Gahey, then says, I haven't got a replacement for Kalvin Phillips. He shouldn't have been sacked. He should have been sent to the fucking electric chair. That is the worst interview he could have possibly given.
Well, it's almost as bad as Harry Kane saying, we struggle because of the heat and the pitch. We're in Denmark. Were they on the same pitch and the same heat?
No, because they have the air conditioning.
Don't they play in colder conditions as well? So it would be even hotter for them.
No, because they had the air conditioning in their kits. They were cooler on the pitch.
Got you.
Do you remember United years ago? We can't see each other in these kits. It was a bit like that, you see.
I like that game.
England, it was against Southampton.
Yeah, it was
6-2 or something.
Yeah, it was like they started in the grey kit and then come out in their blue and white kit. And
I think they should have been. I think there should have been dock points for that because you're not meant to change kit, are you?
For me, it's all about the fantasy football piss take afterwards, where they were saying that they needed to change shirts, and then he pulls out a shirt that was the Southampton with the what was it, Sunderland, Sanderson's logo, the badge, pony, but the imagery was just loads of cheering fans. but like we said, there are replacements for Kalvin Phillips out there. He just, if he wants one, then pick somebody that plays there. Because like we say, Declan Rice doesn't play there for club football. He plays more of a Bellingham role, I'd say.
Okay, so look at the England squad that he's picked.
But does he need to play a CDM?
I was just about to say, do you even need a DM? Or do you need, like I said before, Rice and Bellingham as your central midfielders and Foden just in front, or Palmer just in front? If you're not a fan of Foden, or you're in charge of England, you're not a big fan of Foden, put Palmer on.
You know what this game could have easily done? Anthony Gordon could have easily played left wing back. Hell, Saka could have played left wing back because he has played there before. Trent Arnold could play right wing back and probably do okay there. And Kyle Walker can go in centre back with Gahey and Stones if needed to, and we could be more attacking in that way.
For me, I would play Dunk alongside Stones and Gahey because he's then got the support of the other two. And I'd have Walker as a wing back because of his pace. And I don't trust Trent as far as I could spit him. I don't think he's a very good footballer. No. I think he's an awful defender.
I think he played very poorly.
And his passing has been
I don't think he played
abysmal.
The worst. In that first half against Denmark, he was not the worst player on the pitch by far.
You watched the England v Denmark game, right?
Yes, yeah, I did. He's just the easiest.
Other than Southgate, who had a worse performance in that first half against Denmark for England? Other than Southgate, that doesn't count because he's garbage regardless of what we do.
Harry Kane definitely played worse than...
I don't think he did because I don't think he had the opportunity to get near the ball, whereas Trent had the ball a lot and fucked it up.
Harry Kane also put the ball in the back of the net. Okay, it was one thing, but he did it.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander did nothing. So, quick question. After this, can I get the number to your dealer? Because he's clearly got some good shit.
I don't think he has. I think he's
But
awful.
no, Rice was just as bad.
In the first game?
In the second game we're on about now.
Oh, second game, Rice was terrible.
Yeah, we're on about second.
I was
We're
going
on about
to
second.
defend Rice in the first game, but the second game, yeah, he was pretty poor.
But no, Trent shouldn't be on the team, so I don't need testing for anything. I'm just saying
Just
that
the fact that you thought he did
I
something
feel
good.
that he's probably the easiest person to blame because it's not his natural position.
Hang on. No,
I mean, he
that's
does
where
play there
plays
for Liverpool because he keeps coming
He doesn't
inside.
play there for Liverpool at
He's
all,
like
does he?
Zinchenko for Liverpool. He keeps coming into the middle and doesn't really play on the right anymore anyway. And when he does play for Liverpool and he drifts into the middle, he sprays balls left, right and centre. Where was that for England? I don't understand why they just can't perform for England if they can perform for Liverpool. It's not like, I mean, as much as I hate them and as much as I don't like to admit it,
The thing
they
was,
play some
he
big
was
fucking
playing some
games.
balls over the top. The problem was Harry Kane wasn't running.
Well, not only that, but half of them were over the top of the bloody stands. They were awful.
But you want to know what was worse? Pickford.
Southgate. Oh,
Pickford, my word. So all the players at club level used to play in short ball. So what was happening? Every time Pickford got the ball, you had Declan Rice coming in for the ball, you had Trent coming in for the ball, you had Walker coming back for the ball, all for the short pass, because that's what they used to. Pickford's hoofing it up the pitch and losing it about 17 times. He's hoofed it up the pitch and to nobody. And that's all he did. And you know what was even worse? The free kicks. So we win a free kick at halfway line. Pickford runs all the way up the pitch
yeah, what was that about?
to take the free kick, to pass it 5 yards to
Yeah.
Kyle Walker, to then him boot it out of play. Pickford
Yeah,
could have
that-
booted it out of play.
Probably
Oh,
should
he'd have
have.
been more than capable of booting it out of play. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. I
And
wondered
how
what the hell
many
was going on there.
times did that happen? Because
Yeah,
that was about 3 times, and every time we won a free kick there, it was like, oh, Pickford's going up, and he's going to do nothing with it.
Annoyingly, I
But-
agree with you, but I've got no answer for you. I can't answer because there's no justifying that. There's no way of justifying that. It was just disgraceful.
So who goes in goal then? Is it Anderson?
Well, it's going to have to be because Ramsdale's barely played a game, hasn't he?
And he kicks the ball. He doesn't play the short game,
Um,
really.
No, it's not really
No,
his
but
game.
if you expect your keeper to long ball it, then they won't be. Do you know what I mean? They're used to Pickford
The
playing.
thing
short.
is your defensive players should be expecting the short ball. Right? Your wingers and your forward players should be expecting the long ball.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Well,
You've got 2 parts to your game, attack and defence. Defence should be coming short, so if the keeper wants to play it short, he can. And your attackers should be expecting that long ball. So if he wants to play it long, then you're on it and you're looking for it. But Kane has run for nothing.
And then we'll go to the second game as well. So Kyle Walker does the interview at the end of the game, doesn't he?
I didn't watch the interviews.
So
I
Kyle
know,
Walker
turn it off.
comes out with, people are expecting us to win games 3 or 4-0, and that's just not football.
I was just
I'm
expecting
sorry,
them
he
to put
plays
some
for
effort in.
Manchester City that win games 3 or 4-0 regularly. So how does he come out and say that winning games 3 or 4-0
I
is
think
not football?
If I may defend Kyle Walker here, right, which he does play for City and he used to play for
Bearing in
Tottenham,
mind
so I
that
don't really wanna
Jordan
do that.
Henderson
Yep.
supported his interview.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
to let you know.
Yeah, but I'm reading between the lines. I think he's come out and said that because he's unable to come out and say it's not possible to win 3-4-0 every time when your fucking manager's Gareth Southgate. We are tied, boys. We are tied. There's hostages in better situations than we're in right now.
Do you see the half-time statistics as well of the average pitch positions
yeah.
before and after the goal?
That was absolutely embarrassing.
There wasn't one player.
England-
After we scored, there wasn't one player in their half average position.
There was another post I saw on Facebook right? And it was banging on about the players. The players aren't good enough, and this, that, and the other, and we've got a terrible team, and this. And I said, actually, the players that we've got are phenomenal. The manager that we've got hasn't got a clue what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's proved time and time again.
Obviously
He doesn't know what he's
says
doing.
score a goal and defend. It's obvious. Everybody knows that.
Yeah,
Even the pundits are starting to call it. And normally the pundits are normally backing them up.
Yeah, the pundits were all over them, but this is going on the Carl Walker interview. He actually stated that that's not the case, but I think it is. And as you were saying, reading between the lines, what you've got is international football is a different animal. It's not the same
Agreed.
as the league. So I think what he's trying to purvey is it's not so easy to just go out and thump a team at international level. It's a different type of game. So I think he's trying to purvey that. But I also think he's saying we're not here to just lose, because at the end of the day, if you go out there and you throw everything forward, as who was it? Was it Turkey? They went 3-1 up, and the score flattered them because it was actually 2-1, but Georgia had pushed forward to get a goal.
No, it was a 2-0. So Turkey went 1 up, and then they scored another goal straight away because they were like cutthroat going in at them. But then it got disallowed.
Yeah.
And then Georgia went and scored.
No, there was a game. Someone won 3-1, and they scored in the last minute.
Portugal.
Was it Portugal?
I know Portugal.
No,
No,
it was Turkey, Georgia.
Turkey.
It was fucking Turkey, Georgia. I was right. Fucking prick.
No, that's towards the end.
Yeah, right at the end. That's what I'm saying. So what they'd done is Georgia knew it's a knockout tournament and threw everything forward.
Yeah.
And they got caught
Yes,
on.
yeah.
So my
remember
I
point
thought
is-
you meant at the beginning of the
No.
game, not the end.
So what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, he's probably saying we can't go out after the kill. Because if you go out after the kill, you leave yourself open and vulnerable. This is international football. So he's probably trying to explain, we're not trying to murder teams, because if we do, we leave ourselves exposed. And, as we know, the England defence is not the best.
As the interviewer, I would have said respectfully, I appreciate what you're saying. You're playing fucking Serbia and Denmark. You're hardly playing against your own fucking Man City, are you?
Now, yes.
Now
he
get
won.
the ball down, play and attack. Because if you don't attack, you're going to come home embarrassed.
Yeah.
Serbia could have very easily gone and scored a goal.
They could have scored 2 or
Denmark
3.
did. Denmark deserve a win, and I said the worst result that we could possibly have had. Once it got to the 83rd minute, I said to Yova, who I was watching the game with, the worst result that we could have is winning this game, because it would sugarcoat. It would have just. He would have just defended all his tactics and everything.
Yeah,
Now, I'm sorry, but
that was the
teams
plan all along.
have gone out there and been absolutely ruthless against teams. You know, Belgium
We
never
could be.
stopped attacking yesterday.
No, they went for it.
Kind of funny the fact that Lukaku's the top scorer with 3 goals,
Aren't they all offside?
and they've all been wiped off of
Gotta
VAR.
count.
That's unfortunate. 3 offside goals in 2 games. But stay
The
on
thing
side.
is, they're so close as well. It's
The thing is, though, if he weighed 11 stone, he'd have 3 goals. Because he wouldn't be big enough to just pop his shoulder through, would he?
we'll go into it, but I'm okay with it because of fantasy football, which we'll go into a bit later.
I will go into that because I don't know if you've taken part in the predictions game on the fantasy football.
No, I've not done that too
I've
much.
hit a ridiculous amount of games right on the nose. I've done really well on that. It's been incredible. I wish I'd put money on it. I'd be bloody retired now if I had. Anyway, well, I think what we're going to do is we're on 38, so I think we're going to go for break now. And we shall see you beautiful, beautiful people very shortly. And we've got them players that I've mentioned quickly: Kane, Saka, Foden, Bellingham, Gordon, Eze, Palmer, Rice, Stones, Gahey. Then says, I haven't got a replacement for Kalvin Phillips. He shouldn't have been sacked. He should have been sent to the fucking electric chair. That is the worst interview he could have possibly given.
Well, it's almost as bad as Harry Kane saying, "Oh, we struggle because of the heat and the pitch." We're in Denmark. But were they on the same pitch and the same
because
heat?
they have the air conditioning.
Don't they play in colder conditions as
Yes.
well? So it would be even hotter for them.
No, because they had the air conditioning in their kits.
Ah,
They were cooler on the pitch.
got you.
Do you remember United years ago? We can't
Yeah.
see each other in these kits. It was a bit like that, you see.
I like that game.
England- It was against Southampton.
Yeah, it was
6-2 or something.
Yeah, it
6-3
was
or
like
something.
they started in the grey kit and then come out in their blue and white kit. And
I think they
still
should have
lost.
been. I think they should have been docked points for that because you're not meant to change kit, are you?
For me, it was all about the fantasy football piss take afterwards, where they were saying that they needed to change shirts, and then he pulls out a shirt that was the Southampton with the what was it, Sunderland, Sanderson's logo, the badge, pony, but the imagery was just loads of cheering fans.
but like we said, there are replacements for Kalvin Phillips out there. He just, if he wants one, then pick somebody that plays there. Because, like we say, Declan Rice doesn't play there for club football. He plays more of a Bellingham role, I'd say.
Okay, so look at the England squad that he's picked.
But does he need to play a CDM?
I was just about to say, do you even need a DM? Or do you need, like I said before, Rice and Bellingham as your central midfielders and Foden just in front, or Palmer just in front? If you're not a fan of Foden, or you're in charge of England, you're not a big fan of Foden, put Palmer on.
You know what this game could have easily done? Anthony Gordon could have easily played left wing back. Hell, Saka could have played left wing back because he has played there before. Trent Arnold could play right wing back and probably do okay there. And Kyle Walker can go in centre back with Gay and Stones if needed to, and we could be more attacking in that way.
For me, I would play Dunk alongside Stones and Gahey because he's then got the support of the other two, and I'd have Walker as a wing back because of his pace, and I don't trust Trent as far as I could spit him. I don't think he's a very good footballer. No. I think he's an awful defender.
I think he played very poorly,
and his passing has been
I don't think he played
abysmal.
The worst in that first half against Denmark. He was not the worst player on the pitch by far.
You watched the England v Denmark game, right?
Yes, yeah, I did. He's just the easiest.
Other than Southgate, who had a worse performance in that first half against Denmark for England? Other than Southgate, that doesn't count because he's garbage regardless of what we do.
Harry Kane definitely played worse than...
I don't think he did because I don't think he had the opportunity to get near the ball, whereas Trent had the ball a lot and fucked it up.
Harry Kane also put the ball in the back of the net. Okay, it was one thing, but he did it.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander did nothing. So, quick question. After this, can I get the number to your dealer? Because he's clearly got some good shit.
I don't think he has. I think he's awful.
No, Rice was just as bad.
In the first game?
Second game we're on about now.
Oh, second game, Rice was terrible.
Yeah, we're on about second game.
I was going to defend Rice in the first game, but the second game, yeah, he was pretty poor.
But no, Trent shouldn't be on the team, so I don't need testing for anything. I'm just saying that I feel that he's probably the easiest person to blame because it's not his natural position.
Hang on. No,
I mean, he does play there for Liverpool because he keeps coming inside.
He doesn't play there for Liverpool at all,
does he? He's like Zinchenko for Liverpool. He keeps coming into the middle and doesn't really play on the right anymore anyway. And when he does play for Liverpool and he drifts into the middle, he sprays balls left, right and centre. Where was that for England? I don't understand why they just can't perform for England if they can perform for Liverpool. It's not like, I mean, as much as I hate them and as much as I don't like to admit it, they play some big
was
fucking
playing
games.
Some balls over the top. The problem was Harry Kane wasn't running.
Well, not only that, but half of them were over the top of the bloody stands. They were awful.
But you want to know what was worse? Pickford.
Southgate. Oh.
Pickford, my word. So all the players at club level used to play in short ball. So what was happening? Every time Pickford got the ball, you had Declan Rice coming in for the ball. You had Trent coming in for the ball. You had Walker coming back for the ball. All for the short pass because that's what they used to. Pickford's hoofing it up the pitch and losing it about 17 times. He's hoofed it up the pitch and to nobody. And that's all he did. Right. And you know what was even worse? The free kicks. So we win a free kick at halfway line. Pickford runs all the way up the pitch.
Yeah, what was that about?
To take the free kick, to pass it 5 yards to Kyle Walker, to then him boot it out of play. Pickford could have booted it out of play.
Probably
should have been more than capable of booting it out of play. Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
And how many times did that happen? Because that was about 3 times, and every time we won a free kick there, it was like, oh, Pickford's going up, and he's going to do nothing with it.
Annoyingly, I agree with you, but I've got no answer for you. I can't answer because there's no justifying that. There's no way of justifying that. It was just disgraceful.
So who goes in goal then? Is it Anderson?
Well, it's going to have to be because Ramsdale's barely played a game, hasn't he?
And he kicks the ball. He doesn't play the short game. Really?
No, it's not really his game.
If you expect your keeper to long ball it, then they won't be. Do you know what I mean? They're used to Pickford.
The thing is your defensive players should be expecting the short ball, right? Your wingers and your forward players should be expecting the long ball. Yeah, simple as that. Well, you've got two parts to your game: attack and defense. Defense should be coming short, so if the keeper wants to play it short, he can. And your attackers should be expecting that long ball. So if he wants to play it long, then you're on it and you're looking for it. But Kane has run for nothing.
And then we'll go to the second game as well. So Kyle Walker does the interview at the end of the game, doesn't he?
I didn't watch the interviews.
So Kyle Walker comes out with, people are expecting us to win games 3 or 4-0, and that's just not football.
I'm sorry,
he plays for Manchester City that win games 3 or 4-0 regularly. So how does he come out and say that winning games 3 or 4-0 is not football?
If I may defend Kyle Walker here, right, which he does play for City and he used to play for
Bearing in mind that Jordan Henderson supported his interview.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
Yeah, but I'm reading between the lines. I think he's come out and said that because he's unable to come out and say it's not possible to win 3-4-0 every time when your fucking manager's Gareth Southgate. We are tied, boys. We are tied. There's hostages in better situations than we're in right now.
Do you see the half-time statistics as well of the average pitch positions?
Yeah.
Before and after the goal.
That was absolutely embarrassing.
There wasn't one player. After we scored, there wasn't one player in their half average position.
There was another post I saw on Facebook, right, and it was banging on about the players. The players aren't good enough, and this, that, and the other, and we've got a terrible team, and this. And I said, actually, the players that we've got are phenomenal. The manager that we've got hasn't got a clue what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's proved time and time again he doesn't know what he's doing.
Score a goal and defend. It's obvious. Everybody knows that. Even the pundits are starting to call it. And normally the pundits are backing them up.
Yeah, the pundits were all over them. But this is going off the Kyle Walker interview. He actually stated that that's not the case. But I think it is. And as you were saying, reading between the lines, what you've got is international football is a different animal. It's not the same as the league. So I think what he's trying to purvey is it's not so easy to just go out and thump a team at international level. It's a different type of game. So I think he's trying to purvey that. But I also think he's saying we're not here to just lose. Because at the end of the day, if you go out there and you throw everything forward, as who was it? Was it Turkey? They went 3-1 up, and the score flattered them because it was actually 2-1, but Georgia had pushed forward to get a goal.
No, it was 2-0. So Turkey went 1 up, and then they scored another goal straight away because they were like cutthroat going in at them. But then it got disallowed.
Yeah.
And then Georgia went and scored.
No, there was a game. Someone won 3-1, and they scored in the last minute.
Portugal.
Was it Portugal?
I know Portugal.
No, it was Turkey, Georgia. It was fucking Turkey, Georgia. I was right. Fucking prick.
No, that's towards the end.
Yeah, right at the end. That's what I'm saying. So what they'd done is Georgia knew it's a knockout tournament and threw everything forward. Yeah. And they got caught on it.
Yeah.
So my point thought you meant at the beginning of the game, not the end.
So what I'm saying is, he's probably saying we can't go out after the kill. Because if you go out after the kill, you leave yourself open and vulnerable. This is international football. So he's probably trying to explain, we're not trying to murder teams, because if we do, we leave ourselves exposed. And, as we know, the England defence is not the best.
As the interviewer, I would have said respectfully, I appreciate what you're saying. You're playing fucking Serbia and Denmark. You're hardly playing against your own fucking Man City, are you?
Now, yes.
Now get the ball down, play and attack. Because if you don't attack, you're going to come home embarrassed.
Yeah. Serbia could have very easily gone and scored a goal.
They could have scored
Denmark
2 or 3.
did. Denmark deserve a win, and I said the worst result that we could possibly have had. Once it got to the 83rd minute, I said to Yova, who I was watching the game with, the worst result that we could have is winning this game. Because it would sugarcoat, it would have just... he would have just defended all his tactics and everything.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, but
that was the plan all along.
Have gone out there and been absolutely ruthless against teams. You know, Belgium never stopped attacking yesterday.
No, they went for it.
Kind of funny the fact that Lukaku's the top scorer with 3 goals.
Aren't they all offside?
And they've all been wiped off of VAR.
That's unfortunate. 3 offside goals in 2 games. But stay
the
on
thing
side.
is, they're so close as well. It's
the thing is, though, if he weighed 11 stone, he'd have 3 goals. Because he wouldn't be big enough to just pop his shoulder through, would he?
We'll go into it, but I'm okay with it because of fantasy football, which we'll go into a bit later.
I will go into that because I don't know if you've taken part in the predictions game on the fantasy football.
No, I've not done that too
I've
much.
hit a ridiculous amount of games right on the nose. I've done really well on that. It's been incredible. I wish I'd put money on it. I'd be bloody retired now if I had. Anyway, well, I think what we're going to do is we're on 38, so I think we're going to go for break now. And we shall see you beautiful, beautiful people very shortly. Hello, and welcome back from the break. Episode 35. Just before we get back into our slagging match, which no doubt we're going to end up on anyway because we're England fans and we just get really frustrated with how things go, I would like to point out that before this tournament, the German FA did a survey, and the result of which they spoke about on TalkSport.
Okay.
And it was mentioned that the German fan base was slightly racist because, and I quote, this is the result of the survey, they wanted more white players in the first team. Right. Now, the actual survey that was done, right, wasn't about black and white. It was, do the German public feel there should be more German nationals in the first team? It was nothing to do with skin colour at all.
Oh, wow.
It was because of the likes of Klose, Podolski, Ozil, Gundogan, because there's so many born in Turkey and Poland that play for Germany. It was nothing to do with skin colour at all.
Yeah.
The German fan base were not being racist. They were just saying, I would like more German nationals in the first team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how does that help the twist and the headline and all that?
How shitty is that? To twist an entire... I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Germans anyway, but even I think that's out of order. Well out of order. Anyway, on a cheerier note...
Let's go into our fantasy football.
2 seconds, just before we hit the fantasy football. Macclesfield, as we like to follow Macclesfield FC.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Clegg.
Is no more.
1 minute, Michael Clegg, the manager, left by mutual consent. Next minute, he was sacked. I'm not 100% sure what's gone on there. Our new head coach slash manager slash director of football slash 10% owner, Robbie Savage, was a little bit bolt from the blue kind of appointment.
Yeah.
I personally think Michael Clegg was a very good manager, and I think we were doing pretty damn well with him in charge.
Yeah.
Very surprised to see him leave. Even more surprised to see Robbie Savage given the hot seat. I've got nothing against Robbie Savage. I think he's always been quite amenable to the Mac fans. He's always been willing to talk and willing to open up, and he does live feeds on Facebook all the time. He's constantly keeping the fans informed. But obviously, you've then got Robbie Savage, the manager, who nobody knows. Like, I don't think Robbie Savage knows if he's going to make a decent manager. So we're very much heading into sort of the unknown. And
has he maintained his director of football job?
I believe he has to relinquish it. I think he may have even had to give up his 10% stake, you know.
Because I'm just wondering how if the things aren't going right, like the sacking, does he like sit one side of the desk and go, so Robbie, do you understand where we are? Then he gets up, runs around to the other side and says, yeah, it's not working, is it? Runs round back. Yeah, you're right. We're just going to have to let you go. Runs back round the other side. Yeah, I think it's probably for the best.
I'm going to sue you now.
Can I still keep your job? Yeah, that's fine. That's no problem.
I can just imagine him like running around the desk.
I don't know the ins and outs of it. I imagine he'll have had to have given up the director of football. I don't think you can be director of football and manager of a club. I think that would be a bit.
I think it's a
Who
weird
knows?
appointment.
Yeah.
I think it's a very strange appointment because he's not, as far as I'm aware, he's not finished his coaching badges yet.
My initial thought is I don't think it's a good move.
I'm struggling to understand why Clegg's gone.
Because he took them to a team that probably you didn't think they'd have any chance of promotion. They were probably going to scrape in the playoffs before he was appointed, and then they pretty much give him another 5 games. He may have even got automatic.
Yep.
So
I think he's very, very good at what he did.
I've got one theory, and it kind of does come down to is he still a 10% owner? Has he, rather than take a wage, maintained his 10% ownership and therefore get owner's rights and owner's money? And therefore that would change a lot of your financials, no longer paying a manager, no longer having to do stuff like that, freeing up more kitty to buy players and stuff.
I've no idea.
But this is it, without that kind of information, do you know? But I mean, that would...
We don't have the ins and outs, but from the outside looking in, very strange appointment.
I'm just wondering if that's where it is.
And I don't really understand it, but I'm not Rob Smether, so
No.
I'm not the one that has bought the club and he's paid out enough on that club to be able to be in a position where he's then got the right to make them sort of calls because he's put a lot into it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, bit strange. And I don't know if you've heard, but Leicester have got a new manager.
They have.
Ex-Forest manager Steve Cooper has now gone to Leicester.
I think it's all right.
I think that's quite a good appointment, actually. I think it's quite a bright appointment. Quite a clever, shrewd appointment.
I'd be interested to see what the Leicester fans think.
I don't know.
Yeah, if there is any Leicester fans that get hold of this clip or get hold of this podcast,
Let us know if you're happy or not.
And I've heard the podcast up to this point. Blame me if you haven't, don't get me wrong, but if you have and you're aware of this, then yeah, any Leicester fans, let us know how you feel about Steve Cooper being in charge, because we don't think it's a bad appointment.
I wouldn't have wanted him.
You wouldn't have wanted him?
No, if we were in that position,
think it's a decent appointment.
I wouldn't have wanted him because I don't know. I think obviously he's done well with Forest to take them up, but then obviously he's
Leicester aren't going to throw
okay
30 new players at him, are they?
No. So whether or not that had a lot to do with it,
any manager's going to struggle with. Yeah, but what I mean is that's potentially why he didn't fill his promise out of Forest, because they got promoted and Forest just went, here's 30 players for you.
Yeah, I don't think he's proven enough yet. So we'll be interested to see what he does. For?
Who would your choice have been for Leicester, do you reckon?
It's really tough because it's hard to say what their ambition is or what level the manager wants.
I would say that their ambition is just to stay up.
Mine would be Graham Potter, would be the ideal.
I don't think that's a bad shout either.
I'd be seeing if Edwards wants to leave Luton.
You say what?
See if Edwards wants to leave Luton. That's where I'd be going.
Again, not a bad shout. That would probably cost quite a bit though.
Yeah.
I think Potter's out of a job, isn't he?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So there'd be no
I think Potter probably tries to negotiate a higher wage though.
Possibly.
And are Luton really a kind of team that can demand high compensation package?
Who knows?
I don't think so.
Would have been interesting.
His wage might not be that high in the first place, so it might not be that high a compensation.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. I've got a feeling, moving on, I've got a feeling I know why you want to talk about our fantasy football league.
Oh, I wonder why.
And
I don't know what you mean.
I'm going to go ahead and guess it's because... I'm going to guess it's partly because...
We have to talk about it, because it's what's going on.
We have 12 members of our league.
We do.
Some of which we know, some of which we don't know, which is amazing. We've got some
Which we do need some
of the actual
people to
armchair
tell us
pundits in.
who they are. Jay, Ryan, Simon.
Yeah, we've got Simon,
Gary.
Ryan, and Jay, and they're the ones that we don't know who they are. So
Yeah.
if they were to win, they would have to get in touch with us. However, do you want to tell us yourself why you wanted to talk about the fantasy this week so desperately?
I think Tin was very happy at one point going into the last game. Because you were pretty much near the top or joint top.
Was I?
Going in, yeah, you were. You had a very good second to last round of
Jim Jam
games.
is James, by the way.
Yes,
For those
So I
watching
may
on
be
YouTube
top now.
or the clips,
but no,
James is at the top.
I am at the top, so I am the one to beat. I had a good.
Bloody hell, you did, didn't
Right, do you want to shut
Yeah.
the door? He's just told us we can beat him.
Yeah.
We've got sticks.
We've got sticks. I've got
We've
golf
got
clubs
them.
behind the door, so we're good.
But you know, Tin's up there as well. He's in third place. He's doing
He is.
well.
FC
Hold on,
hammered.
I've got to flick the screen over because
From the guy
we've got
that's
to
teetotal.
find. We've got our third pundit in ninth place at the
Oh, God, I
moment.
don't know what you're on about. Don't know what you're on about. I wasn't in it to win it. I was just in it to make the
Oh,
numbers
here
up.
we go.
Enjoy it.
And then
Mate,
our recent guest,
I'm actually useless
Yov,
at fantasy
at least
football.
you're beating our recent guest, Yov, who's down in 10th. And
Yes,
his,
whose
his
team,
lady,
by the way, is called Tickle My Pits FC.
yeah.
That's the one thing I will say. Some of the names in this league are actually really good.
And his
we'll
missus,
we'll not read
my
that, Gary's,
sister-in-law, is above Yov as well. So,
Yeah, 2 Pint Keza FC.
yeah. And she picked her own team. She just picked players that she knew.
You went with Mutt's Nuts.
Mutt's Nuts. I've
So,
always had Mutt's Nuts. It's
now,
always... it's been
everybody
the one.
below you is underneath the Mutt's Nuts.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. FC hammered from someone that doesn't drink. That's strange, to say the least.
I was referring to the fact that, like, in the prediction game, I just got hammered every week.
Okay, now it makes a lot more sense. Now I'm fully behind it now. Rover and out. That's quite clever. I like
Yeah.
that one. I like that one. Given,
Lads on
given the
tour
fact that
race,
Darryl
that's
was
all right.
given the fact that he's a Rovers fan. I just went for Sunday Pundit just because I normally go for Siltman FC, usually on fantasy football. But I
What I'm
decided not to do
interested
that.
in, so obviously, because you know him very well, but we've obviously got a Spurs fan on there, but obviously called Spursy McSpursy Face. That's team name is an Arsenal player.
Yeah, Party in the USA, but Party spelled Partey.
Do you know why he's picked an Arsenal player for
Not
his
a clue.
team name?
I mean, I could hazard a guess.
That he's
in
fed
that-
up.
One
He
of our
knows that he won't win.
one of
if
our
he has-
worst players
Yeah,
is obviously more important to him than his entire team.
yeah.
So, but then that would make sense because Spurs are, how do you put it kindly, shit.
So you're
So I'm gonna
happy at
go
the
with that.
moment to be ahead of your son at the moment.
Oh yeah, I couldn't lose to Zach. I'd be absolutely mortified if I got beat by Zach. My life wouldn't be worth living when I
Yeah.
go pick him up
Yeah.
if he beats me in
But
that
no,
fantasy football.
we've got plenty of weeks to go, and
There's a long way to go. There's a
plenty
lot
of
of
stuff
games
to
to go
go.
anyway. That's for damn sure.
unfortunately, a lot less now. I've kind of got used to watching like
You do though,
2-3
don't you?
games of football every day,
Um,
and
I'll
now
be
we're getting
honest.
to the point it's like one a day.
I'll be honest. I will probably watch more football now we're getting to the business end of it, because I've barely watched any. But my enthusiasm for this competition is fully measured on the fact that we have Southgate as a manager, and I'm not expectant. I'm not excited. I'm not looking forward to the games. I'm not even looking forward to Tuesday.
I'm really looking
'Cause
forward
it's
to
gonna be
watching
boring.
other games. I'm sorry, but some of the other games have been quality. Turkey, Georgia,
But because
superb.
see, I'm one of them that because I know my team is going to be horrific, it just knocks the wind straight out of me. It's literally like someone coming up and punching you straight in the stomach and then go run the 100 meters. You're going to finish last. You're not going to do it with any enthusiasm. I've just got no enthusiasm for the tournament. But I reckon, if England got knocked out, I'd be more excited for the other games because I'd be like, well, I know I don't have to go through that drab, boring defensive Southgate bullshit.
But what you do have to do is watch how it's our referees that fuck up every game, every VAR.
Have you noticed how the English are taking more time with every VAR decision? Like the German officials and the Portuguese officials and the Spanish officials, they're like, is it offside? No. And then they go to the Germans. Well, is that a free kick?
Nine.
Red card. Okay, red card. And then they go to the English. Is that offside? Give me a second. Hang on.
I don't know.
Let me just check the sun. No, let me have a
Hang
look in
on.
the mirror.
Was there an offside in the build-up?
Was there and let me just run it back a little bit. Just 11 minutes. It won't take long at all. Just no, maybe. Mate, come on, there's people leaving the stadium now. I'll just give it then.
And how does it end up? It ends up being a controversial decision because he spent that long.
It's not even that it took that long. It's that usually it's wrong. That's why it's controversial.
So we're talking about Simon's goal. Obviously, is what we're talking about now. And was he offside? Was the player on the line in an offside position? Was he blocking the keeper? So we'll ask Tim, because he's a goalkeeper.
The guy on the line,
do you feel that he was impeded?
We'll clear part of that up straight away. The guy that was by the keeper was definitely offside.
Yeah, he was in an offside position.
So he's in an offside position.
Now,
hands down.
I've got my goalkeeper's aspect of it. What's yours? Because you're the full-time keeper. You think that's a goal?
I don't think that the player impedes on the goalkeeper at all.
Right. Why? Because I agree with you, but I've got my reasons.
So, if you look at the trajectory of the ball, line of sight to the ball, and where he's going to be diving for the ball, that player's not really anywhere near it.
Right. Do you know why I don't think it should have been disallowed?
Go on.
Because he didn't dive. If he'd have dived and hit the player, no goal.
Agreed. But
whether he was 10 inches from it or 10 miles from it, if he'd have made the effort to dive and hit the player, I'd have disallowed it straight away. I'd have gone, because you've impeded him now.
Yeah.
Whether he'd have saved it or not, for me, is irrelevant. You've impeded that keeper from trying to save it. He just stood there and watched it.
Yeah.
Goal.
Well, he had no chance.
Goal.
It's a goal.
Goal.
But what I'm saying is,
we've all done it, where someone's hit an absolute screamer and we've just applauded them and gone, I'm not even moving, mate. Yeah, well done. Good goal.
But what I'm saying is, even if he had gone for the ball, the player's not there.
See, I would have given it at that point, because I'd have gone, you've now impeded him, because you've now hit him. He's gone to dive, you're in his way, you've impeded him. And the rule doesn't say, can the keeper save it? It says, did you impede the goalkeeper on his route to saving it? You didn't dive. He hasn't impeded you.
Yeah.
You can't then go, I didn't dive because he was there. Because if I was the keeper and someone was in my way, I'd dive straight through him. No problem. And if they moan that they're hurt, okay, you shouldn't have stood there then, should you?
So that tells you everything that is wrong with the English game and the Premier League and VAR.
Soft.
It's the officials themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
Now,
they don't know
I'm
what they're
sorry,
doing.
I'm watching a game, and this will be controversial, but they have a referee's analyst on ITV at the moment. Irritates the fuck out of me.
Is it Howard?
No.
Who is it?
Is it Christine Uncle or something like that?
Oh, not actually a referee. I thought you meant that.
No, it is actually a referee, but obviously USA women's game, and
It's a different game.
And I'm sorry, but just hearing
It's a different game.
that voice, it really irritates me. It's like it kind of sounds patronising the way that she's saying the rules. Like it's like she's got the rule book in front of her, literally no interpretation, reading it word for word, and it just really bugs me.
Tim, I'll just spell chauvinistic pig. I'm only messing, but you know you're going to get that though after this.
Yeah, and any absolutely useless pundit.
I don't think she should be anywhere near the TV screens.
She looks so uncomfortable now being there. It's like she is just there to be there.
Is it just me that thinks they've adjusted the height of the table because she's there? Because all the guys, it's like waist height, and for her, it's like at her shoulders.
And I'm sorry, but I don't mind, because Alex Scott, I can listen to all day, because she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, at least she talks
and
sense.
you've got, and I'm sorry,
you've got Rachel Brown as well. Rachel Brown, the ex-goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I like listening to her as well.
Yeah, absolutely
Talks a lot of
fine.
sense.
Laura Woods, good presenter.
Yeah.
She's just asking questions. She's not getting too involved with what's going on because I don't think she knows the game enough. So she does what she's good at, which is presenting.
And does it well.
And does it well enough.
Yeah, I can
So I know you say that, and like, is it because it's a woman, etc.? No, it's not. It's because of
No,
how
we don't
you are
like
or
listening to
whatever.
Michael Owen talk.
No.
It's not because he's a woman. It's because he talks shit and he's fucking boring.
To be fair, I don't like Mike Dean when he's talking about the
Love
rules.
Mike Dean. I love Mike Dean.
Sometimes he's
I
funny.
could listen to Mike Dean all day long. I'm sorry. I know it's wrong. It's like my ASMR. I could listen to that guy talking forever.
Okay, who's the other one? Who's the one that does the reference to Dermot Gallagher? Okay, we'll edit out Mike Dean and we'll stick in Dermot Gallagher now.
Yeah, Dermot Gallagher is just, again, monotone, boring.
Defending all the VAR decisions,
I know.
even when they're wrong. It's
I was
like,
going to say, I don't even think he gets a lot of them right. Like, I'd
No.
rather somebody just come out like, I know you're an ex-referee, right? I know these guys are your friends. I get that. But if they've made a mistake, they've made a mistake.
I think it was it Lukaku's second goal that got disallowed? And it was because she was talking about the handball rule and stuff like that before the cross went in. I'm sorry, that wasn't handball at all. For me, and they're using that stupid ticker thing that indicates whether or not they've touched it by their hand. That's the future
Yeah, but
now.
that's not
You
handball.
know, but they've got in cricket where
Yeah, but
has
the
it
thing
touched
is
the bat?
the-
Now they're using it. Has it touched?
The ball can hit your hand and it not be a handball. That is a possibility.
Yeah.
Like, we know this. Hands too close to you, ball too close for you to react. There's a few reasons why the ball hitting your hand, you're the goalkeeper. There's a couple of reasons why hitting the ball with your hand is not a handball. Right, so why aren't we taking these into account anymore? Why are these just being ignored now?
So you say that, but did you see the Chechnya goal?
No.
So,
Yes.
ball's come over, it's hit the goalkeeper, come back at him, and as he sort of like hit it with his head, it's gone down and hit his hand. He's not
No
moved
goal.
his hand into
Can we get a replay of that up?
It's no goal because he scored with his hand. It doesn't matter if it's accidental now. I'm
So
all with
Yeah,
that.
but how can you stand there and say...
Oh, but they have said, though, haven't they? Any contact with the hand that then directly leads to a
Yeah.
goal is automatic handball.
But
I'm
again-
okay with that.
I don't know if I am.
No.
Because
If
if
you
it's...
score, say if it accidentally hits your hand and goes in the back of the net,
Okay.
is that a goal?
Say you're stood
Because you've
there-
scored with your hand.
Say you're stood there with your hands by your side,
Yeah.
and the defender leathers it at you, and it just hits your hand, which is by your leg, and
Okay.
goes in. That's going to get disallowed because it's hit your hand, even though it's right next to your leg. But because the ball has then bounced off your hand, you get your goal disallowed.
Can you score with your hand?
Yeah, but you haven't tried. The ball's
I
hit you.
think
You haven't gone to
you've-
score.
You've literally just said that it wasn't handball on the cross because it just hit his hand. But then you've just said it wasn't a goal because it just hit his hand. The ball didn't even deviate from direction. It went forward, hand, forward. There was no deviation. It wasn't like his
Yeah,
hand
just-
changed the trajectory.
I think
No,
they-
I understand what you're saying, but in theory, if that goal's allowed, he scored with his hand,
then so be
and
it.
that's basically saying, okay, you can score with your
But this
hands.
is that bollocks about, oh, well, if it hadn't been in the area, it'd been a foul anywhere else. A foul is a foul. You either accept that anything that touches a hand, no matter how much you intended it...
To be fair though, I would like to interject at this point. If you stop a game of football by stopping the ball on the wing and then sitting on the ball, you'll get a free kick against you because you've sat on the ball. But if the defender clears it and hits your arse and goes in, that's a goal. So just because one's a free kick doesn't make the other a free kick. So if you haven't intentionally done it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you intentionally sit on the ball and cover the ball, it's a free kick because you're not meant to do it. It's obstruction. But if the ball hits your arse and goes in, that's a goal. So if you've intentionally handled the ball,
That's
handball. But if the ball's just hit you and gone in, it's goal. I don't care where it's hit you. Thierry Henry would agree, although that was slightly more intentional, I think.
But the drag back.
I think the contentious one that because the last part of the body to score hit was the hand, and with it, but then it's like if it's accidental and say the ball comes across, it hits his hand, and it falls down and he kicks it in. I'm kind of more on the lines to allow a goal because he's scored. But if your last point of contact is a part of a body that you're not allowed to score with, I could understand it.
I was thinking
You'll never get it right.
I just think intentional is intentional and unintentional is unintentional, whether it goes in
If
or
you're
not.
and the thing is, though, you can start saying the whole hands in a natural position. His hand was here. He fell forward.
For those that can't see, because you're on YouTube, he's literally indicating by his
sort of like mid-chest,
by his stomach and just below his rib cage, and his hand was tucked in.
And it's hit him in the head and gone down onto his hand. It's not like his hand's in an unnatural
There is a
position.
rule though. If it comes off of part of your body and hits you, because if you go to block it, like if you stick your leg out and your hand's out with it, and it bounces off your thigh and hits your arm, that's not handball. Because it's bounced off another part of your body, so it's unintentional. Guaranteed unintentional.
But now it's not a goal. That's my point. It just seems it's
but
ludicrous.
That's the one where Matty Cash on the line, Southampton have a shot. When Matt Cash blocks it with his hand, he sticks his hand out to stop the ball deliberately, but there was the tiniest flick off his leg first. So it wasn't given as a penalty because it came off his leg first.
Rules are rules.
Even though he deliberately played it.
I would say rules are rules and good save. I'd shake his hand and go, you cheated, but fair play to you.
That's basically like saying if Maradona decides to, if he headed the ball first and then punched it.
No.
It's hit his head first.
No. That's still an
I know he didn't.
Yeah,
hit
I'm not sure if the ball's 2 foot above your head.
I don't disagree with that.
I'm not sure if the ball's 2 foot above your head, you could argue in any way, shape or form that your hand was in a natural position.
But this is my argument. I agree the Matty Cash one's still a penalty. His hand's in an unnatural position.
Because he deliberately played it.
Not for a
to
goalkeeper,
stop it
but for a defender, it's in an unnatural
But my point
position.
is this lad's falling forward and his arm's in front of him. That's not an unnatural position.
I would agree.
It doesn't matter at the moment, though, because the rule says if it hits your arm, if it hits your hand and you score, it's not a goal.
I would like to point out that this conversation's been going on 4 minutes now, and we're criticising the English FA for sending
they
over
haven't
people
made
that
the
can't
decision
control
yet.
the VAR.
You said 4 minutes. The English FA have not made a decision yet.
Neither
They're
have
still
we.
talking about
I want
it.
to say, we're having a debate. The FA is still looking at it. They're looking for an offside.
I mean, if you go in by the rules and the way the rules are written, the goal's disallowed.
Yeah. But
Because
if
it's
he's
not allowed to hit your
it,
hand last.
if he passed it to somebody else, it's not handball.
Yeah, so far as the rules are concerned, the goal's ruled out. Yeah. And it is pretty cut and dry. So I was just joking and taking the piss, really. But
if a defender did it, it wouldn't be a penalty.
No, it's fine.
So that's where it goes
that's my
mad.
problem.
That's where it's wrong. It should be intentional, unintentional. If it's unintentional, then fine. Just let it go. If it ends up in the back of the net, tough. Try and save it.
Yeah.
That's
Simple.
why the championship was so much better, because
Yeah,
that would just count.
It would have counted.
It's all right saying it when you've just been promoted from there, isn't it? Hey, would you be saying that if you were sat in his position over there?
Well, yes, because
Oh,
I've just said it.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be pointing out the championship
No.
at all.
Can we
if
just
you were
point
still
out?
in it.
would.
He's the guy that
Said
would have
I
been
wanted to
happy
win
in
the league and
championship
stay
next season,
there.
So he'd have been fine with it. If
Yeah.
that goal, if Leeds had scored that goal in the final and they hadn't scored, and there was no VAR, it was a typical championship game, and we'd gone up through that goal because there's no VAR, he'd have been happy as shit.
I'm not saying I would
The
have
way,
been
the
happy.
way the way he
but-
celebrated when they got promoted, I disagree with that. I think he's
No,
happy
I'd
he's
have
in the
been
Premier
pissed
League.
off. I'd have moaned about it, but no, it's one of them.
Well,
VAR's here, but the thing that the
I'm gonna
Euros
see
has
if you're still
proven,
happy the next
it
time your team
can
concede 9.
work. It can work. VAR can work.
VAR can only work if you've got the right people in charge of it, and clearly other countries have.
So foreign officials is what we want in the Premier League.
We bring
We've
in
got
foreign
foreign
players.
Yeah.
We literally just said that at the same time, man. Got foreign players, why not bring them? Well, do you know, we went to Australia to get a referee. Jared Gillett, is it his name?
Yeah, and he's brilliant.
He's all right. He's a decent ref.
Yeah.
Really good ref.
So
Really
why
ref.
don't we do the same for VAR officials? We do it
Yeah.
for players. We've clearly just done it for referees. We do it for managers. We do it for director of footballs. Ours is Brazilian. So he's not English. the guy in charge of Brighton, I don't think he's English either, is he? Most of the owners are bloody Saudi or American now anyway. Or Qatari. So why not go there for the VAR officials as well? Go abroad. Bring them in. They're better than we are. We are shocking.
I just think we should be getting VAR only officials.
Yeah, I think the only thing the English should be in charge of is bringing fish and chips to the ground for the, because we're shite at everything else.
It's embarrassing.
We don't have the best referees in the world. That's why very, very few are picked to do any real important games. The VAR are embarrassingly bad.
Oh, you know one nation that's not going to be officiating the final, don't you? Because surely they're not going to pick the English to do the final. I wouldn't even imagine they get semi-final games.
It goes on a performance rating, doesn't it?
Well,
so I think once England knocked out...
The French won't be there. Basically, if I heard the other day that if your team make it to at least the semi-final...
You're sent home.
Your officials are sent home.
Yeah.
So France won't be there. The Spanish won't be there. The Germans won't be there. And probably the Belgians won't be there. I reckon they're your four semi.
The Belgians are going through.
So we're 2 games in. Everybody's played 2 games. So who are the standout teams for you right now? Top 3.
Germany. Portugal played well.
Spain.
And Spain.
They're my 3. They're my 3.
Portugal, Germany, Spain.
Portugal's second team is ridiculous.
It's not bad, is it?
Because he showed what team they can play, getting rid of all the players that played... What was it? At least 45 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And, oh my word, that second team is...
They're starting to look like the Spain old.
How ridiculous were the stewards in that latest game? 4 pitch invasions during the game of fans trying to get selfies with Ronaldo.
I mean, that's embarrassing in itself, isn't it?
I mean, after one was a kid, okay, they tolerated that one. And then they got older.
They got older.
I mean, they didn't show the pictures, which is good because you don't want to see that.
You don't want to promote it, do you?
But did you see the last one, which was after the game? There's a potential injury to one of the Portuguese players.
Because of a pitch invasion?
Because of a pitch invader.
Wow, that's a bit
Because their striker, Ramos... was just walking along and somebody came on the pitch to get a selfie and the steward took out Ramos. It's on video, I'll show you the video.
Wow.
And he literally is limping off after.
Can we get that video up?
Yeah.
Can we get that video up?
I'll put this on while we're talking and stuff.
We're gonna be back in 2 seconds. We've just had a quick look at said video of striker being taken out, and to be fair, it was pretty rough, and he could potentially be injured.
Yeah, he was hobbling.
Centre-back sliding challenge.
And he's got every chance of playing the next game for Portugal.
Not now, I don't
because
think. That was a rough tackle.
Because Portugal have won their group now, which is exactly what England should have done. They should have beaten Denmark, and then they could have tried anything in the last game because they would have already won the group. Because Spain can do whatever they want in the last group game. Portugal can do whatever they want in the last group game. You can't tell me that a draw and a win is good enough when you can win 2 games.
Let's be honest. We could have won the first game 5-0 and won the second game 5-0. And Southgate would still have played the same football in the last game anyway. He'd have played the same team.
I want to move off England.
I like to keep a winning team going.
Can I just... One thing. Yeah, we've got to win to win. Anyway.
Yes.
Can I just say one thing I do?
No.
Nah, fuck you. Ronaldo. How good has Ronaldo been this tournament?
I think he's been very unselfish as well.
Yeah.
So,
I think he's been brilliant.
Interesting one for you.
See the own goal, though? Did you see the own goal against the Man United reserve keeper?
Wow.
So, he's come out and the defender passes back blindly, doesn't even look, puts it a good 7 feet past him. Jesus. It's horrendous.
But Ronaldo's having a strop at that point because he did not pass him the ball. It was really funny. So he's there, throwing his arms about, going, fucking pass me the ball.
And
the balls are rolling towards the net at this point while he's having a strop.
Did you know that because of his assist to Fernandez.
I'm okay with it. He was in my team.
Hang on. He's now officially the European assist king. He has got the most assists of any European footballer.
Do you think he knows this?
Absolutely, fuck yeah.
Yeah, because he's going for records. Isn't
Yeah,
he
he
wants
knew.
his name on every
He
record
knew.
possible.
He did that. He knew.
Are you? Here's a question for you. Do you think this is his last Euros?
No,
Euros, yes.
no.
Are you telling me that he couldn't potentially play in 4 years' time?
Well, it doesn't matter,
I'm
does it?
sorry,
They'll pick him
he's-
just for the name.
Because Pepe is 41, and bloody hell, he's still playing well at 41
Mm.
at top level.
I'm going to say this is his last Euros.
I would just like to point out that nobody's heard my phone ringing this week.
No, I felt it vibrating through
Yeah.
the table.
Maybe so.
It didn't go last week either,
It did go last week.
did it?
Yeah, because although I'd muted it,
Yeah.
I hadn't turned off my alarm for Daisy's bedtime, and that went off.
No, that was the week before.
I'm sure it was last
I'm
week.
sure it was last week.
It was last week because we gave him a load of shit about it. He went, oh, I've muted it. And then the alarm went off.
Yeah. Not sure.
So it's been vibrating
It
through
doesn't
the
matter.
table all day.
Yeah.
I'm okay with a little vibration. Beach Boys were alright with it.
But yeah.
But I'm going to predict that he's going to be there.
I think he will.
We'll find out in 4 years when hopefully we're still doing this in 4 years and we bring up this old clip where he predicts no and I predict yes.
I mean, to be honest, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be doing this in 4 years.
There's no reason why not.
I mean, for them that are listening and watching, we hope to be better at it in 4 years. Don't get me wrong, but we will probably still be doing it.
I predict that we won't be.
Won't be what, any better? It's a strong possibility. I'd give you evens on us being worse. But yeah, I mean, I can genuinely see him being picked in 4 years.
Yeah.
But
Is he a starter? Who
I
knows?
don't think he'll be a starter. I think he'll just come on for the name in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes of a game or whatever, just to give
Can
that.
he do an impact? I
just to
suppose it
give that
depends on what
Ronaldo.
level he's playing. But I swear, his body condition is...
I think if he's there, he's going to be the manager.
Player manager.
I can see him being a manager because you see what happened last Euros when they won it and
he got injured.
and he was
Yeah. That's what I mean.
he was
So I don't-
pushing the manager out of the way so he could give the
So I
instructions.
think at the next
quite-
Euros, he's the manager.
Thing is,
I
though,
don't know if it'll be
there's
that
every
quick.
potential that his son could be at the next Euros and he might want to play...
He's
with
meant to be
him.
really good, you know.
Is
his
it?
son.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's
I don't
meant
know
to be
about him.
superb.
Because I think he wants to play with his son, or his son wants to play
Yeah,
at a
Beckham did,
competitive
but that's why
level with him.
they did that thing, didn't they, at Old Trafford? Didn't his son play on Sports Relief, or what's it called?
Soccer.
Yeah,
Soccer Aid.
they've done
Didn't
that.
they both
but-
play there? That was the only way that they were ever going to play in the same team, wasn't it, after he retired from PSG?
Yeah, because I don't think he was... None of them really took to it. There's only one now, isn't it? Is it Romeo that plays for
Wasn't he at Brentford or something at one
something
point?
like that? Whether or not
Brentford
they
B
go
team, I
through
think he
or
was in
not.
For a little while.
So should we leave the Euros now and go on to some transfer
I
talk
think
or
we should
whatever?
definitely leave the Euros.
So
I'm amazed you thought this
Liverpool
much shit
have
about it.
slapped on a price tag for Kelleher, I believe, at 25 million.
Still.
It was 20 million, wasn't it, last time we did the pod? Because I remember that being one of my
Yeah,
facts
just
that
so I
I'd heard.
wrote a note that I haven't got with me, but I remember writing 25 million because I know that a lot of Southampton fans were like, we should
Just
snap
Duck
him up
another
for
5
20.
on it. Great goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Great
I'd have
goalkeeper.
him. I'd have him.
and
But
people were saying
I mean,
he'd
I'd
have
take
to
you
go.
over Raya, so I'd definitely have him.
They were saying, would any goalkeeper would he go to a top 6 side? And I goes, I'm not convinced. He's not going to go to Arsenal because you already know that Raya is potentially going to be your goalkeeper next year.
There's no potential about it.
He's not signed yet.
I know two.
He'll be there, and he'll be bloody number one.
There's two he could go to. Top six.
Chelsea.
Definitely Chelsea.
He's better than anyone Chelsea's got.
And
Man United.
are you on about Onana?
Yeah,
going
yeah.
By
Yeah.
any chance?
I'd drop an on quicker than a hot potato, and I would have him straight away.
Yeah. Whether or not it happened or not, who knows?
But he is
That's the only reason
definitely.
why, because he was
he's
a
a top
quality
six.
goalkeeper when he
Yeah.
came in for Liverpool. As much as I hate to admit it, he did come in and he played really, really
Again,
well.
I rate him better than Becker.
good news for us. We've been linked with Downs is getting a little bit more talked about now. So hopefully,
Yeah, you
he's
were
not
wanting that
in.
one, weren't you?
Yeah, he's not in West Ham's plans for going forward. That'd be
Good
good
news
for
for
us.
you.
And Danny Ings as well. 6 million, I've heard.
I've got to be honest. I
potential.
think Danny Ings is a great player.
He knows where the back of the net is.
I think he's a
I'm
great
all
player.
for it.
I'm sorry. I think he's a great player.
I'm all for it.
Mm.
Yeah, he was a bit of a dick when he left because he had the potential to
Bit of a
be
dick.
a hero
You're a bit of a dick.
because
Danny
he
Ings.
just fucked off and went to Villa.
I mean, you can't
did-
really blame him for that, can you? I
Did
mean, it didn't really work very
okay,
well for him.
didn't work well for him, but it doesn't for a lot of players. A lot of players leave clubs and it doesn't work out for them.
Sanchez.
Kalvin Phillips.
I'm just going to say on the whole going to Villa thing, he probably went to Villa because he thought that might be a good move because Southampton have a habit of losing 9-0. It's not a case of if, it's when.
That was a bit harsh.
I know.
It's a bit harsh.
Damn.
I'm going to brush over the fact that I took the piss out of that earlier on. In the
I know.
podcast.
I know, yeah.
And, I'm just going to make a big thing out of Tin Rib saying it. I was really harsh. That was Tin Rib.
Yeah.
God,
He didn't help you.
I know.
He didn't help you last time. He's not
Yeah.
going to help you next time, is he?
But no, I'm hoping. So transfer talk, positive. I'm liking the talk of them two would be all right. How about Leeds? Any rumblings?
Yeah, so it's
On
mainly
your
outgoings at the moment. We've got Roca pretty much going. Apparently that's like we're just cutting the price, get gone. Llorente's pretty much done and dusted, 5 million to Roma. Apparently we've reduced the amount of money we want from Woba in the sense of like if we can get rid of him, we'll offload him. We've had an official approach for Somerville, which we've told them to piss off. Not
Is that Brighton?
Yeah, we've told them no. There's a lot of teams now touted with him, and we're looking for 35 plus at the moment. Apparently, they've said something like 35 plus.
Given the current market, sorry, I was
That's
a
all
bit far away from the microphone. Now. Given the current market, I actually don't think that's bad at all.
No, that's a good price.
No.
I mean, when you
Profit.
look at the fact that like Kai Havertz is nearly 70,
Yeah.
Somerville's much of a muchness for me as far as Kai Havertz is concerned.
Yeah.
I
So
think
obviously
35 is
that's
a bit of a steal.
That's a 1.5 million pound player going for 30, 40 plus.
Mm.
So I'll take that. Another link. Apparently, we've now received a formal bid from Forest for Willian Onto.
Who'd have thought Forest buying more players?
17 and a half, I think it was. But I know that people close to him are saying that Anonto wants to go back to Italy. And there's a lot of gossip in the Italian papers that bids of like 1921 area are being touted. So I'd probably say he'll be going to Italy. But it looks like they're the ones going. There's been links with players, but a lot of them seem to pop up and then disappear. So there doesn't. Tottenham have basically said we're not having Skip. Not happening. Don't know why. Probably because we're not going to sell him Gray at all. Gray's pretty much been said not on the market. Other than that, yeah, it's kind of a bit quiet.
I think Roden will go quite a long way into.
That's going to drag out. I think that's going to drag out because his preferred choice is Leeds. They want a sale. They don't want a loan. We've already asked for a loan. We've asked for a loan with purchase, guaranteed purchase at the end. It seems that Tottenham want a permanent sale. His preferred destination seems to be Leeds by all accounts. But Leeds haven't got the money at this second. So I think that's going to be a case of they're going to hold out for as long as possible.
Once you've sold.
Yeah. Archie Gray obviously has been heavily touted. But from what I'm gathering from different reports and stuff, with conversations with his family and then the hierarchy, they've just said, we're not selling. He's going nowhere. We're not interested. I know you are. I'm happy. Apparently, the one player I really wanted, Connor Roberts, really want him. He looked great at right back in the games he played. Apparently, that's waiting on the new Burnley manager, whoever that is. Once he makes a decision, that's like 2.5 million or something, and that's pretty much a done deal. Again, another player who wants the move.
Another bargain, though, 2.5 million.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
I'd go up to like 5-6 for him. Fantastic. But yeah, so they're the muted. They're sort of the ones that are floating around. There's Gruev to Dortmund. We paid 6, was it, for him? and they're saying like 17 million or something. So, as much as I like Gruev, let him go because my preferred midfield is Ampadu and Gray.
Yeah. So you want your right back in Connor Roberts to basically not put Archie Gray at right back.
Absolutely. We've also offered a new contract to Cody Drama, who is a right back. So it seems like we're trying to fortify the right back so we don't rely on Gray. I think Gray's problem was when we were in turmoil and we didn't have players and players wanted to leave and we didn't have anyone actually in right back. I think he filled in, but because he did such a good job, he just became the preferred choice, especially when you sort of like, you spend 10 games, he's got to play there, and then all of a sudden you get a good midfield with Gruev and Kamara. You find it hard to replace him then, and then it becomes a necessity that he's on the right. If you've already got your right back in place for the start of the season, then he's allowed. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
So, there's rumours that we're looking to offload Firpo if the right price comes in.
£1.
Mate, if you offer him a bag of chips, I'll drive him to the airport.
That's the English in him, man.
Yeah.
Sam Byram signed another 1-year contract. Well happy with that. But yeah, there's Brendan Aronson's said that he's staying. So that's a number 10. Might be decent, might be shit. We'll see. But other than that, yeah, at the moment it's...
All things look good for Leeds, I think, at the moment.
I think so.
All the talk around it and obviously the deals.
Should look good for Leeds.
Yeah.
It depends whether they Leeds it up and decide to stay in the Championship for 22 years.
They've already had their Leeds, though.
Yeah, we've had our Leeds, though. But yeah, for us at the moment, things aren't looking terrible. We've got players like Somerville who said...
So you want Somerville... You want 35 million for Somerville?
Apparently so, yeah.
So if nobody comes in at 35 million, does the price drop or does he stay?
No, he stays.
You think Leeds will keep it?
Or Leeds just going to keep him?
According to rumours, yes.
He's happy to stay.
According to the gossip.
That's what you want.
See, that's an ideal
Especially
scenario.
when he puts things like on his thing, will be back next season. Last season in the summer, he had chances to go. Said he
yeah,
won't
I
stay.
mean, I don't pay too much attention to that because I seem to remember like a little while ago, Sol Campbell came out and went, "I'm definitely staying at Tottenham," and then he rolled out as Arsenal.
The thing is, though,
won the league at. I mean, to be fair, he won the league at White Hart Lane.
Russell Martin got told to base his season without Adam Armstrong because he was leaving.
Yeah, we got told that we weren't having Meslier
and he
last
finished
season.
our top scorer and
But
was our
Somerville-
hero of the year,
Yeah.
one of our top 3 players. So,
But Somerville
there you
had
go.
2 chances to leave in both transfers, and he didn't go. So
Fair enough.
I don't think he's in a hurry to leave. I think.
But then that's what you want, though, isn't it? If your players are happy to stay, then that's
I think
a
the players will
massive
be happy
bonus,
depending
isn't it?
on who stays, who goes.
I think he'll be gone.
If loads of players go and nobody comes in, he might think, oh, have he taken it as seriously as they want? Maybe I've got to go.
Maybe. But I do think it's a case of if the right deal comes in, he'll go. If not, I don't think he doesn't seem he's that bothered.
So, Aloisi is looking like he's going to Bayern Munich for a wage of 220k per week.
Yeah, I think that's overpaying slightly.
Even Man United said no to them wages, so that kind of says what he's doing. So Palace getting ripped apart, so obviously Tottenham are in talks with Eze, but his preferred destination is Arsenal.
Shock.
Thoughts?
I mean,
Do you want Eze?
I'd take Eze in a heartbeat. I think he's a great player.
So do you train him up and play him in Martinelli's position then? Because obviously the position that he's playing for...
Nobody's going ahead of Odegaard.
That's what I mean.
That's not happening. But I would use him in the Carabao Cup as Odegaard's replacement.
So Eze's not starting for Arsenal.
Would start... No, I probably wouldn't start him because me personally on the left, I wouldn't have Martinelli. I think he was really poor last season. As much as I love Martinelli,
I think the best player for you would be that Nico Williams.
Trossard, I'd play on the left as it stands right now. I would love us to sign Nico Williams because I think he's a great player.
I would say that Trossard was absolutely garbage when he came on yesterday.
I don't care how he does it international.
Yeah.
I think for Arsenal he's brilliant. I think Timber for us is going to be like a new signing as a left back.
Yeah.
White right back, and obviously Gabriel and Saliba. I wouldn't.
You don't need to change your back four.
I wouldn't be upset if we bought Gahey and played him ahead of Gabriel. I'll be honest. I wouldn't be disappointed if we bought Vinnie Jones and played him ahead of Raya. But obviously, right wing we need backup. Saka cannot play nearly 60 games a season every season. He's a great player, and I love Saka. I think he's amazing.
I think the problem is he has to come off
We are
with
destroying
15 minutes to go because he gets kicked that much that it's
Yeah, but
got to
like,
start.
We had games last season like where we're 5-0 up against Sheffield United at half time. Now, if we could bring the likes of Eze on and go just play right wing in the second half, happy days.
So you're quite happy you'd like Eze to sign as a squad rotation player?
Yes. Because for me, he can play anywhere across the three.
Yeah.
He can play left, he can play Odegaard, and he can play Saka. So I would then, like, if we're 4-5 up at half time, I'd bring Saka straight off. And I'd go, look, just take the break. And Eze can jump on instead of you.
So do you want another striker, or are you quite happy to start the season with Havertz up top?
Oh, sorry, that's a serious question.
That's a serious question.
Right, no, we need a striker.
Because he's not done too bad.
I mean, he's done all right, but I don't want all right. I want to win the league.
So
I want a
is
leading goal scorer. I want Watkins. I want
Oxenham?
Isaac.
Oxenham?
How do we know how the fuck he's going to do in the Premier League? He could be garbage.
Mm.
He could come and be the next Sergio Aguero. He could come and be the next Thierry Henry. He could come and be the next Nicholas Bentner. We don't know.
Do you want Williams? Would
I'd
you
love
want him on the left?
I'd love Williams, but you're not relying on him for goals.
No, but he gets a lot of assists, which is what,
And that's the
and
thing.
goals, and he's your left
He
winger.
can do that in the Premier League.
Would he be your starting left winger if
we
that
bought him,
transfer
yes.
happened?
Yes.
And then you'd still want your striker.
I'd still
Anyway.
want Isaac or Watkins.
So then Havertz is now becoming your squad rotation player as well.
Oh, yeah. But then Havertz would have been anyway. You know that.
Yeah.
He did win me over somewhat last season because I thought he was absolute garbage when we first signed him. So he did win me over a little, but...
Selling Jesus or keeping him?
We were offered 45 million from Real Madrid. I had to driven him there myself. And Zinchenko was wanted as well. Oh, get rid. Another one. Bag of chips, bit of fish. Happy days. You can have Zinchenko, no problem. He's cost us so many goals last season that I'd quite happily get rid of him as well. I think Nketiah should go. I think Nelson should go just for more game time. I do quite like Nelson, but he's not a league winner.
I think I'd take Nelson. I'd take Nelson and
he'd be good.
Smith Rowe. And Nketiah
You
can stay
leave
away.
fucking Smith Rowe alone unless you're having him on loan.
Smith Rowe ain't going to Southampton.
He would on
He's
loan.
got ambition.
I'd
He would
take
on
him
loan.
on loan.
He'd go there on loan because you'd give him game time. And I'd be happy for him to be at Southampton.
Like I say, he's got ambition though, so he ain't going.
It's a bit harsh, that, isn't
And he's just bitter because
it? He's very bitter because you're in the Premier League. But it would be interesting for Smith Rowe to sit in the stands because obviously he wouldn't be able to play against his parent club. So if he goes to Saints on loan, he can then stand with the Arsenal fans while we beat you 9-0 next season.
Yeah.
So that would be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
So there's a
Having
few
there
other
cheering
options,
and then
yeah.
playing for you the next week.
So our fixtures came out as well, and I've got to
fixtures,
say, we've got the perfect opening
Not
game.
what you expected.
No, it wasn't.
No,
Not at all what you expected it to be, Tin Ribs.
Yeah, it took me by surprise.
I think
I
our
didn't get
second
any
away
right.
game of the season is Tottenham. Our
So-
second away game of the season is Tottenham. Because obviously they're the results we look for.
so our first game is perfect.
Who have you got first?
Away at Newcastle.
How is that perfect for Southampton? I'm really struggling because
Right.
not only is it fucking hundreds of miles away.
Right, do you want to play Newcastle after you've played a game already? Say if it was a midweek game, do you want to be travelling that far? Because Sky would do that to you.
Yeah,
Up there.
probably would.
So ultimately, it's the first game of the season, and we've took away our biggest journey. You've got all the time to prepare for it. You can train. You could arrange training up there. You could be up there.
Do you know what?
and
Okay, you
you've
make
got
a decent
that.
point. You make a fair point.
We might not win that game,
Probably won't win that game, but at least it gets it out of the way, I suppose.
but it's out the way. And and it's not in the fixture congestion or anything like that. So that's why that is the perfect game.
Yeah, I see your point. Well made.
And I play on the Xbox with an Everton fan, and I said, how does it feel knowing that Southampton are going to be the last team to ever win at Goodison Park?
Wow.
So we have got that honour. We will be playing the last game at Goodison Park.
Honour?
I don't know if it's honour. I know we were last team to win at Main Road.
That was quite an iconic stadium, wasn't it? Especially after Oasis played there twice in
Yeah.
96.
So it's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Saints will be playing the last game at Goodison Park. I mean, I've got news for you. Everton will be playing there as well,
Yeah.
by the way. So
You
you're
know
not the
what?
only team that will be
I
playing the
heard
last game there.
Game congestion thing, and there's a game put afterwards just to like fuck his
Well,
stuff
they've
up.
changed the rules. There's got to be a minimum of 60 hours between games.
I mean, it's still not a
And
lot
that's
anyway, is it really?
and that's the medical advice. Shane Klopp's not about to moan about it,
Well, it's
considering
less than 3 days.
Thank
Yeah.
God Klopp's not around to fucking moan.
But yeah,
about it.
so
I'm glad it's
60
not.
hours, so that's one of them. Oh, and guess what? We're going to get our team news 15 minutes earlier. Apparently, there was a rule to say that you could not announce your squad an hour before kickoff, so now you can announce it like an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff now.
That
Woo!
doesn't make any sense with
Stupid
the way
rules.
things are at the minute. People tend to know. Right, I think that'll do for this week. And we shall come back, no doubt, to moan more about England and the Euros. And there's a very good chance England will be out of the Euros by the time we record next Sunday.
We better not be.
Mainly because they're shit. We've got an absolutely horrific manager who was a great defender, but doesn't seem to know how to manage or tactically manage or manage his substitutes or do just about anything else that manager's meant to do. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it up there, and we shall see you lovely, lovely people next week.